God, Lord, I just want to thank you for everyone here, Lord, in this church, Lord. I just pray that you just touch me, God, and you just work through me, Lord, and you just help me get my message across, Lord, and you just open everyone's ears, Lord. That today, Lord, you just bless us, and we would learn to be more extraordinary through you and for you, Father. Amen.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. God has called everyone in this room to truly be extraordinary. You know, whether it's witnessing or just, living a pure life for God, or, just loving people. God, He's called all of us to do this and just to be extraordinary Christians for Him. But through your life, God, He's gave His foundations, to do extraordinary things. And I want to share with you someone you guys all probably know of. You all, probably heard of him in Sunday school. I'm here to talk to you about one of the most infamous warriors of the Bible. He was tough and strong, the exact opposite of me. I mean, just imagine that. But, God gave him a calling, and He gave him an extraordinary gift and abilities. And his name's Samson, and you guys all know him. But from the very beginning, God set Samson aside to do extraordinary things. Judges 13:5 says, Samson, set apart from God from birth, will begin deliverance from Israel from the hands of the Philistines. From the very beginning, he was, set apart, and his calling was to set his people free. And the Israelites, they were supposed to be a pure nation. And in number 6, it shows a lot of the laws that the Lord told Moses. They weren't allowed to cut their hair because it showed true dedication to God. And they weren't allowed to touch a dead body or be around any of that. And when Samson, when he first started his revenge on the Philistines, the Israelites, they were actually really in shock. I mean, it's pretty hilarious because they got this big, strong guy up there. Vin Diesel, he's just big and he's hardcore and he's just the man. It says in Judges 15:11-12, then 3,000 men from Judah went down to the cave of Edom and said, Samson, don't you realize that the Philistines are rulers over us? And what have you done? He answered, I merely did to them what they did to me. And, we see that a lot. We see that in the churches and we see that in school. And there are kids with hearts that are truly wanting to be extraordinary for God, but they don't have the support from the house and they don't have support from their friends. And it's a sad story. But later, they tied him up and they took him to the Philistines. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he picked up a donkey's jawbone, and he killed 1,000 men. And that's pretty brutal. It seemed from then that Samson, he had it going on. He was a strong guy. He was tough, but he ran into sin. He let sin captivate him, and he let him take him over. He was pretty much bound by sin. And, we have to realize that if we want to live extraordinary lives for Christ, then we have to live pure for God, and we have to do that. And that's one thing that a lot of people aren't doing. You see people in church, they go out and, they do the same old routine, and they're not living extraordinary for God. And I believe that if 10 Christians really did what they were supposed to do, then this world would be flipped over for Christ.
Amen.
And that's one thing we have to look about, is that if we want our families changed, and we want our homes and our schools, we want everything flipped for Christ, we have to live that extraordinary life.
Amen.
That's right.